This is a poem I wrote my freshman year, like one of the first poems I wrote that wasn't actually a persona. So I try to tap into who I actually am. And it's entitled, Grape Juice Doesn't Really Taste Like Grapes. It's Just Purple. Present. The man who sits beside me may love me, but what he bears between his legs is a pistol. I sometimes question the sincerity of his whispers when he gazes at me with half-drunken eyes, dancing fingers toward an erotic trigger that will blast away my virginity. I tell him I love Erykah Badu. He asks, can I touch you like this? He doesn't know yet that his touch tickles and it stinks like freezer-burnt meat. I'd rather carve casket in his torso, jump inside of him like Holy Ghost, or lay with him without words. I ask him, has he ever wondered what grapes taste like? You know, I begin, grape juice doesn't really taste like grapes. It's just purple. I am grape, I am woman, not grape juice. Something artificially flavored you swallow in one gulp. I have substance, solid, not liquid that slips through your fingers because you only desire its wetness. Past. At age 6, my mother thought it would be okay for me to converse with my father while he sketched tulips in prison cell. I said, hello? He said, do you know who this is? I said, Steve. He said, this ain't no damn Steve, this is your daddy. The demand of his speech, fury sprouting through telephone wires, echoed in my sleep. It still haunts me. Present. Man who sits beside me. There is this fictitious prison guard preventing us from loving. Maybe his name is Grape Juice. Past. Steve draws tulips and mails them to me with letter. I love you, Ciara. No response. Next letter. I named you because you can see others' errors. No response. Next letter. Ciara, write back. Your mother said you're a writer. I never knew how to start letters, so I avoided the task. Dear Daddy or Dear Steve? Daddy sounds too sexual. Never knew how to end letter. Love Ciara or Sincerely Ciara? I don't love my father, I want to. I am virgin because 1997, Mace came out with some Feel So Good. Setting, Harlem. Chicago boys never passed scribbled love letters to me because I was going to New York to marry Mace. He had cute dimples. That girl who loves fantasy I still haven't grown out of. I am virgin because when I was 14, a guy named Kevin taught me that I was worthy of love. He believed I was a fragile flower. I was the girl who tried to impress him by rapping Nelly's country grammar. I told him I hated girls who wore makeup and high heels, that I never wear a skirt because I'm bow-legged. My first kiss, it rained. Kevin and I found our lips pressed together like ceramic wrapping. He told me he had fallen in love. I left Kevin in a park on a swing by himself because he made me happy. And I wanted to suffer for my father, for the tulips my father's bronze hand sketched on brown crumpled paper. I wanted to suffer for the times I read my father's letters, cried, and never wrote back, for when I couldn't send my father my writings, too afraid he'd read between lines and relate each of my words to the way I felt about him. I wanted to suffer for my father because the hardest words for me to say are, I love you, Daddy. And my father never stopped writing me, never stopped enclosing tulips in envelopes, ending each letter with, I love you, Ciara. 4 years later, a week before coming to New York to marry Mace, MAC foundation was painted on scars my mother carved fresh into my skin. I wore retro high heels with sexy painted in huge lettering on jeans. Kevin had just gotten out of jail and had a son by a girl he didn't love. He says, Ciara, you doing things you said you wouldn't do when we were together. By the way, you look nice with short hair. Did you dye it red? We were strangers. You still a virgin, he asked? I nodded. He smiled. We stood in silence, gazing off into nothingness. Ciara, I wanted to be your first. Just make sure whoever you fuck, just make sure he's worth it. I bit my lip. You probably drink now, he assumed. Life is short. Looks like you're going to a party, Ciara. Have fun. Just know you'll never find a guy like me. I was your first kiss, the guy you told your secrets to. The men at that party will think you're as sexy as the word painted on your pants leg. But I remember the girl in K-Swiss Classics who wore baggy jeans because she never wanted to unveil her